Hey, this is Tommy John, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
You can put it on the board. Yes!
Welcome to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. Today's show is brought to you by UppercutChops.com. Check out their tasty selection of all-natural, dry-aged USDA, prime Angus, and Wagyu steaks and chops. Wait till you taste their best-in-class New York steaks, the filet mignon, and of course the king of all, those massive and gigantic cowboy cut and tomahawk cut ribeyes. Best I've ever had, probably be the best you ever have as well. Check them out at UppercutChops.com. That's UppercutChops.com. Or give them a call, find out what's for dinner. 714-948-0100, 714-948-0100, again, 714-948-0100 for UppercutChops.com. All right, and a big welcome in everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates and independents from coast to coast. Everybody tuning in on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Time Warner, WOW, Spectrum, and independent cable affiliates. Thanks for joining us in select markets as well as Hotel TV where applicable, and also on all streaming platforms, including our friends over on Facebook on Chicago Food Favorites. Folks, make sure to check out the group Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. A lot of people are complaining about this, that, and the other, this tariff problem, whatever. And you know, it doesn't matter which publication or outlet. A lot of it depends on the political side of the outlet. How is it going to cost us for food? How is it going to cost us for vehicles? How is it going to cost us for sports and entertainment? Right? Because we're a sports and entertainment show. Well, guess what? We have a little bit of that as well. But people are complaining about this, that, and the other. Even Apple Computer. Tim Cook, Trump's tariffs may cost Apple $900 million. Well, make things in the United States, and maybe you wouldn't have that problem, if you know what I mean. That's right. All you people buying your food and things like that, your consumables from overseas, maybe if you believed in this country, you wouldn't have so many issues. Well, you know, the tariffs are going to make us pay this much more money and all this other crap. Well, listen, first of all, American-made products last seemingly a little bit longer than most of those made, for example, over in Asia. We'll just use that as an example. And people just continue to complain and complain and complain. It's like, shut up already, seriously.
Why isn't this an awkward moment?
And really, ultimately, folks, people are going to complain about stuff, and especially the blue team is going to complain about everything the red team is doing, blah, blah, blah. And so if you're watching ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC, all those blue team outlets, and you're going to hear all the negatives. But the reality is, I mean, even Fox has been compromised. The reality is, look, there are facts, and then there are fiction, and there are stories spun for fear-mongering and all this other crap. So here's a fact sheet, and this is directly from the White House. And so if you're concerned about things, look, President Donald J. Trump will end price gouging by middlemen in the entertainment industry. Now that deserves an astounding round of applause. Yes! That's right. So for all those that are complaining about it, well, get over it. Now this comes directly from the White House. Sporting America's live entertainment industry, Donald J. Trump signed an executive order to protect fans from exploitive ticket scalping and bring back common sense reforms to America's live entertainment ticketing industry. So, of course, the order directs the Federal Trade Commission to work with the Attorney General to ensure that competition laws are appropriately enforced in the concert and entertainment industry. Well, guess what, folks? That also extends to sporting. Think about this. The Federal Trade Commission does what? They are about making sure that fair competition is enforced in this country. So they don't want monopolistic competition. So a price fixing scheme amongst one organization that owns the entire industry, or an oligopoly where maybe just a few companies own the entire industry, kind of like the oil industry when it comes to gas prices and whatnot. Well, guess what? The FTC has something called the Sherman Act. In case you don't know, you better check it out, folks. And that is, of course, an antitrust issue. And if you don't know what antitrust is, you better look that one up too, because this affects each and every one of us every day. Now, whether it's sports, whether it's entertainment, whether it's food prices, whether it's fuel prices, whether it's your automotives, whatever, all kinds of items. You got to realize, folks, the FTC's job is to make sure that pricing is fair and competition is fair. And there are a lot of other organizations that report to the FTC, including, but not limited to, the Internal Revenue Service, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and many, many more. So you got to realize, I'm not reading any notes on this. I just know this stuff. I got to tell you, folks, if you think that your ticket prices are going to go up and all this other crap, look, you're going to hear media spin, and I'm going to give you some media spin from another organization, and that's going to be from another one. Well, we're going to get to that in a minute. But the reality is, this is for the greater good of Americans. That's right, of Americans. We don't give a damn right now about what's going on outside this country when it comes to financially speaking, because why? We need to make sure that we take care of the home front before we can take care of anybody else. And remember, this is kind of like what they say on the airplane. Secure your mask before helping others. And that is exactly what Donald J. Trump is doing with his administration. He's securing the mask of Americans before he can help other countries do what they want to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. Now back to this, the executive order that was signed. Of course, it directs the Federal Trade Commission to also rigorously enforce the Better Online Ticket Sales, that's called BOTS Act, and promote its enforcement by state consumer protection authorities. Now, yes, that will also affect sporting ticket events. So scalpers, guess what? You're not going to have the ability you had to before, and all you overseas organizations trying to rip off Americans, guess what? That has come to a screeching halt. Also, the Federal Trade Commission has been ordered to ensure price transparency at all stages of the ticket purchase process, including the secondary ticketing market. That's good, because now you got middlemen. And look, I know of companies right here in Las Vegas that all they do is they service ticket brokers, and they have been, in my opinion, gouging people for decades and decades and trying to employ people at really, really low rates just so they could fatten their pocketbooks up. Well, I want to make millions of dollars and I need the help so I can go ahead and go on bigger vacations and all this other crap. Well, guess what, folks? All that stuff is slowly coming to a screeching halt. And this is exactly what America needs. It needs accountability. All you nonsensical ticket brokers that are out there, let you be warned that Donald J. Trump is coming for you, and to make sure that you treat ticket buyers with respect, with integrity, and everything else that comes with it. How about with a little moralistic value? And it's okay to make a profit, but don't gouge people. Also, the order directs the Federal Trade Commission to do what? Evaluate and, if appropriate, take enforcement action to prevent unfair, deceptive, and anti-competitive conduct in the secondary ticket market. That's for all you scalpers out there and all you alleged ticket brokers, which are still scalpers in my opinion anyway. Also, the order directs Secretary of Treasury and Attorney General to ensure that ticket scalpers are operating in full compliance with the Internal Revenue Code and other applicable law. For all you companies that spend millions of dollars buying up tickets just so you could soak the market up and basically create a demand issue, right, by wiping out the supply. Well, guess what? All you ticket brokers, this is right at you again. And I hope that he absolutely nails you through the Federal Trade Commission. Believe me, folks, this is for the greater good here. And so when you think about this, you say, well, why would they do it? Well, because they're trying to create some sort of semblance of fairness. Now, also, the order directs the Secretary of Treasury and the Department of Justice and the FTC will also deliver a report within 180 days summarizing actions taken to address the issues of unfair practices in the live concert and entertainment industry. Of course, you know the NFL is an entertainment company. In case you haven't checked, you better check the corporate charter in case you don't know. Of course, and address the issues of unfair practices in the live concert and entertainment industry and recommend additional regulations and legislation needed to protect consumers in this space. Now listen, folks, we're going to go ahead and we're going to let this one ferment for, maybe the next 3 or 4 minutes. I want you to think about what all of this means. And when we come back from break, we're going to continue on with this. This comes directly from the White House, and this is to protect the entertainment side. For all you people that think, well, you're going to end up with some kind of tariff issue for your tickets and all this other crap. Maybe the concession will try to steal money from you in the stadiums. It is what it is. But ultimately, you know what's going to happen here, folks? Well, guess what? Fairness is what's going to happen. Whether you like it or not, or whether you think it's not going to happen, it is going to happen. We're going to continue on with the White House discussion on fairness in the Federal Trade Commission and sports and entertainment in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come here on the Sports Circus.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America, with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at
714-948-0100. Again, 714-948-0100.
Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.
Could you use a little extra money right now? If you'd like to borrow up to $100,000 and get pre-approved in minutes, call the number we'll give you at the end of this commercial. Our lending partners have already loaned millions of dollars to individuals just like you, and we're ready to lend you up to $100,000 if you qualify. Even if your credit is not perfect, you could use the money to pay off high-interest credit cards, for home renovations, or consolidate existing debt. You can get flexible, easy-to-pay terms. The consultation to find out if you qualify is free. To find out if you qualify for our special financing program, call this toll-free number 24 hours a day. 800-335-1376. 800-335-1376. 800-335-1376. That's 800-335-1376. Important terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Loan amount, annual percentage rate, and term will vary depending on creditworthiness. Applying does not guarantee approval. Account approval is subject to verification and confirmation of your credit history and acceptance by a lender. If you choose to apply for a loan through us, a consumer report will be obtained to evaluate your creditworthiness in connection with your application for credit.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UppercutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UppercutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UppercutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door. store without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at uppercutchops.com or call 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. 714-948-0100. Or make your selection directly at uppercutchops.com.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
Thank you, Roy, and welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster, Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP Television. This segment brought to you in part by your friends over at the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. Check them out at csncoyotes.com for upcoming games and events. That's the College of Southern Nevada Athletics, csncoyotes.com. Make sure you check them out, folks. All right, a big welcome back to everybody listening in on all of our network affiliates and independents, including our friends over in Atlanta, WDJY 99.1 FM. Thanks for waking up with us, and thanks for driving home with us on WAUD out of Auburn, Alabama. That's home of the Atlanta Braves. Big hello to everybody throughout the heartland, all the way through the West Coast, out to our friends in Honolulu, CBS Sports 1500 KHKA. That's home of the Yankees, 49ers, and Alabama Crimson Tide. Plus everybody else watching on Cox, Comcast, Spectrum, Frontier, Oceanic, Time Warner, Spectrum, WOW, and independent cable television affiliates in select markets, hotel TV where applicable, and of course on all streaming platforms as well. Folks, make sure you check out Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook, a fun group. Talk about your favorite foods, your favorite recipes, your favorite restaurants, whatever it is. And this is for everybody in all four corners of the earth, for all you flat earthers out there, if you know what I mean. All right. Now, back to this fact sheet. And this is from the White House. President Donald J. Trump ending price gouging by middlemen in the entertainment industry. Just remember, sports is also entertainment. In case you're keeping score, take a look at the NFL charter if you don't believe me, because the NFL, the National Football League, of course, that nonprofit, is what? It's an entertainment company, in case you're keeping score. So, of course, the president had signed an executive order and ordering the Federal Trade Commission to keep an eye on a whole bunch of price fixing thing with ticket scalpers, all you wonderful humans that are stealing, in my opinion, from people. And, of course, also addressing unfair practices in the ticket marketplace. Of course, President Trump is committed to making arts and entertainment that enrich Americans' lives as accessible as possible. That's really good stuff. Think about this. America's live concerts and entertainment industry has a total nationwide economic impact of $132.6 billion and supports 913,000 jobs. So you think they're affected by ticket scalpers and whatnot? You best damn well believe it. But of course, it's come blighted by unscrupulous middlemen who impose egregious fees on fans with no benefit to the artists themselves. That's for all you ticket brokers and all you scalpers out there. You know who you are, even right here in Las Vegas. It's the same thing, garbage in, garbage out. Ticket scalpers use bots and other unfair means to acquire large quantities of face value tickets, then resell them at an enormous markup on the secondary markup. Price gouging, consumers, and of course depriving fans of an opportunity to see their favorite artists without incurring extraordinary expenses. You know, we have a lot of musical guests on this show. We have, of course, bands and individual artists. And let's face it, folks, all of those people do what? They affect the sporting world directly with their music. But remember, in some cases, we're also talking about sporting events. So this is an ongoing issue. So the bigger problem is, how do we control this? Listen, by some reports, fans have paid as much as 70 times the face value of a ticket. All you ticket brokers. That's right. And worse, When this occurs, the artist does not receive any additional profit. It goes solely to those people that call themselves ticket agencies or ticket brokers or scalpers. This is disgusting behavior. It should not be allowed, and that's exactly why this is going on. And good for President Trump to step in and say, listen, folks, enough of this crap. We're going to make it fair, and we're going to make it reasonable for everybody, and we're going to charge the FTC to go in and regulate this. Folks, let me tell you something. If there ever was an organization you don't want to lean from against you, that is the FTC. It's bad enough with the IRS, but let me tell you something. The FTC, man, you can't get away from it. If you I knew somebody that had a lien for a huge amount of money against them from something they did in the business world. Well, guess what? Every time that person touched anything in business, whatever it was, that gigantic Federal Trade Commission lien followed them. In fact, one time I even made a purchase or acquired a asset from them. And I had to pay the Federal Trade Commission a nuisance fee. That's right, a nuisance fee. And you know what they said? They didn't give a damn. All they want is their money. They have 4 words, and that's it. And here it is, folks. Here's the 4 words they want. As soon as it pops up here, it's live. Anything can happen.
Show me the money!
That's all they want. Show them the money. And listen, at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. They have to get theirs. And so in this case, the FTC has been charged to go after these organizations. Listen, the Bots Act, and of course, in case you missed that in the last segment, the Bots Act is a really important one. This is where the FTC rigorously enforces the Better Online Ticket Sales Act. That's BOTS, Better Online Ticket Sales Act, right? And so when you look at this, you say, well, the Bots Act, yes, it's live, folks, anything can happen, meant to stop scalpers from using bots to purchase tickets. It has been on the books for over 8 years, but nobody's enforced it. And the FTC has only once taken action to enforce this law. Well, not anymore, folks. I don't think so. Scrupulous sellers of tickets charging people 5, 2, 3, 5, 10, 50, 70 times the amount of a ticket. Well, all of that nonsense is going to stop. Why? Because protecting American consumers is absolutely important. This is directly from the White House, folks. President Trump believes that Americans shouldn't be subjected to exploitative pricing and unfair fees. That's right. We should not. I'm an American just like you listening in. So think about that. This executive order tackles an issue President Trump highlighted on the campaign trail where he vowed to work on combating high ticket prices and described the current climate where fans are priced out as very unfortunate, as he says. Now, of course, it builds other actions. That's the important part. It builds on other actions that President Trump has already taken since returning to office to protect American consumers, and he terminated New York City's congestion pricing scheme that hurt everyday Americans, such as workers and small business owners. He also signed an executive order to empower patients with clear, accurate, and actionable healthcare pricing information. He also formally directed the whole administration to focus on price relief for American families to defeat the cost of living crisis. But listen, folks, how does that affect each and every one of us? Well, it's pretty obvious. But when we think about sports and entertainment, that's really what we're talking about here. Look, there's another side of this coin, according to the blue team. But listen, I don't care what team you're on. This is about putting America first. And if you don't put America first, man, you're not American. I don't really think so anyway. At least you don't believe in America first. And this is not a political situation. This is about treating our people fairly, with dignity and respect. And if you can't understand that one, then you'll never understand why this was needed in the first place. So whether the president stepped in, I mean, somebody had to step in, because obviously in the prior administration, we weren't going to see anything like that. And see, the bigger issue is that the blue team is going to say, well, you know, Trump's tariffs will have a far-reaching impact on the sports industry. That's what they say. Now, you see, all they're trying to do, folks, is they're trying to scare people, and they're trying to influence people to think otherwise. And this is the problem. So you get the spin from the other side. They say, well, this is according to CryptoRank.io, whatever the hell that is. Trump's proposed tariffs will have a far-reaching impact on professional sports leagues and the broader sports industry. Traditionally resilient to political shifts, the sector is now on alert, much like automotive and the spirits producers. Okay, folks. And they go on to say, well, the United States has already imposed a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum imports, a 20% tariff on certain goods from China, and some levied on Canadians and Mexican products. President Trump has also laid plans to reveal a more targeted reciprocal tariff plan slated to take place at a very near date. Okay, well, listen, folks. First of all, if you read through that, the reality is it is reciprocal, meaning, for example, country X will charge the United States 210% tariffs, if I'm not mistaken. Canada has some crazy number like that. It's well over 100%. Whoever knows. I don't know. The reality is what has been proposed is a fraction thereof. A fraction. And people are, oh, they're up in arms over it. Oh, no, we can't deal with this and we can't deal with that because, oh, well, we have to make sure that we make the Canadians happy and the Mexican people happy. Well, guess what? They're already happy because they've been stealing from us for decades and decades and decades. Well, enough is enough. It's time for them to pay their fair share. When we come back from break, we're going to dive a little bit more into this alleged far-reaching impact on the sports industry in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come. I'm your ringmaster Sal of the Sports Circus, a primetime nationally syndicated television, radio, sports, and entertainment show. The Sports Circus covers topics others are too scared to talk about. There's no other primetime show like it on here that'll punch you in the face and you'll beg for more. Join me, Hall of Famers, world champions, and all-star celebrity guests for chaos and controversy here on Libsyn and all podcast platforms, plus thesportscircus.com. Remember, folks, it's a circus and we prove it every day.
Hello Americans, it's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. 800-950-2049. For the last time, that's 800-950-2049.
Do a search on how to get out of credit card debt, and you'll find everything from crazy promises to ways you can try to do it yourself. Many of those ideas just don't work, and they leave you broker than you were. Here's some advice. Call our debt helpline. In a quick and free 5-minute conversation, our experts will listen to you and learn about how much credit card debt you have, what your goals are, and then show you the right solution to help you get out of credit card debt with one new simple, affordable payment. The credit card companies make available special programs to help if you're struggling. All it takes for you to finally get out of credit card debt is one quick, free phone call. So please call right now.
800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. That's 800-948-6817. Paid for by the Debt Helpline.
That's ridiculous.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Hey everyone, Dave Jackson here, ESPN rules analyst on ESPN Hockey, and you're listening to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm your ringmaster Sal, live from Las Vegas in the AMP TV studio, AAMP television. Folks, make sure to check out thesportscircus.com for our upcoming guests, prior guests, recorded shows, which we found on all streaming platforms, including Apple, Amazon, Audible, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Deezer, plus all other platforms where applicable. And of course, make sure you check us out on all of our social media as well, including on Facebook, even through Chicago Food Favorites, that fun group of food and recipes and restaurants and whatnot, Chicago Food Favorites on Facebook. Make sure you check that out. And also welcome back to everybody that is watching, listening, and whatnot, and pick your favorite platform or on your favorite platform or whatnot. Thanks for joining us once again here on the Sports Circus. In the last segment, we're talking a little bit about what the White House was doing and talking about the tariffs and whatnot. And a lot of people are complaining. They're saying, oh, Trump's doing a bad job and all this other crap. They don't really know. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. The reality is, folks, this is a lot bigger than just them. There's so much more to it. And all these people are crying about it, and they have no damn clue. You know why? Because the blue media is telling them to cry about it in the first place. And that's really what this is about. So the blue media is wrecking everything because that's what they do. They control the media. And even outlets like this one we're looking at here, this crypto rank nonsense. Well, guess what? They're saying, Trump's tariffs will have a far-reaching impact on sports industry. All right, so I mentioned something about them saying the United States already has imposed 25% tariffs on aluminum, blah, 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 from certain goods from China and Canada and Mexico, and talking about reciprocal tariff plan. Well, that's just, hey, look, you're charging us, we're charging you. Nothing wrong with that. And so here goes good old Yahoo Finance and their sports report host, Joe Pompliano, expects, this is him, he expects it as if he's some kind of an expert, all professional sports leagues and companies to track how these tariffs might shape their bottom lines. Okay, all right, so we're going to go ahead and humor the world with your information there, Joe Pompliano. So let's go ahead and let's go over what you think, because we just want to demonstrate just how ridiculous the blue media and their logic is. And of course, Yahoo is one of those extreme blue liberal outlets. So let's go ahead. He says, well, while teams and leagues are known for having dependable revenue streams, they're still tied to broader global economic activities. Golf stands out, according to him, as one of the most vulnerable segments. Topgolf, Callaway Brands. Let's see if this article... Now, they're only citing him in there, but it's not written by him. But they say, from this crypto rank nonsense, they say, golf stands out as one of the most vulnerable segments. Yeah, golf is one of the most profitable ones, too. So Topgolf, Callaway Brands, for instance, uses what? They use Chinese parts for a portion of its inventory in the first place. Forecasting a $5 million hit to their EBITDA. In case you don't know what EBITDA is, folks. That's earning before income tax, depreciation, and amortization. For all you that don't know, now you do know. Okay, so what? So Callaway's going to have to pay a little bit. Get over it. Make it in the United States and you wouldn't have this problem in the first place with your publicly traded company, now would you? That's right. So stop complaining. And they say, well, these figures may appear small compared to the overall earnings. They represent unexpected pressure in a domain Donald J. Trump holds near. And of course, meanwhile, Topgolf Callaway has seen its shares fall 14% to date. And of course, another stock is down 3% called AMER. Well, over the same period of time, big deal. And of course, sports ticket prices are expected to increase. Why? I don't know. I mean, the games are played here. Why the hell would the ticket prices increase? It's not as if they're paying tariffs on the salaries, tariffs on the parking, tariffs on the use of the ball game. I mean, where the hell are the ticket prices going up? They go on to say, fans heading to the games might also feel the pinch. Increased concession costs could be on the way following news that stadiums in February projected a total of $56 million in sales with increased tariffs on supplies from Canada, Mexico, and China. What the hell supplies are they using? Food? Cups, maybe? Maybe they could buy their cups right here, or they can make their cups in these United States of America. Hey, now that wouldn't be a bad idea. What do you think, folks? So quit your bitching and you can actually do it right here in this country. And so I don't get it, but let's go on here. So, that accounts for 0.3% or 0.3% of overall stadium supply related spending. So folks, let's put this in a reality. 100% minus 99.7%. Oh yeah, that's right. There's 0.3%, less than 1% of overall stadium supplies. So what they're saying is, you can expect the ticket prices to increase. And of course they say, many sports spectators already frustrated by rising ticket prices may find themselves budgeting even more far basic refreshments. What? Far basic refreshments? Oh yeah. Okay, we'll account you for that. I don't even know what that is, but they're budgeting themselves because they have to. So according to this alleged genius, Pompliano, hockey enthusiast could be more affected next if delayed U.S. tariffs on Canada go forward. A full 25% of the National Hockey League's revenue is driven by its Canadian teams, all of which rely on what? The Canadian dollar. If Canada's currency weakens in relation to the U.S. dollar, those franchises' financial obligations and the league's agreements with Canadian entities could be negatively impacted. NHL players who are paid in U.S. dollars may see changes to how their contracts interact with local finances. Nobody gives a damn. That's over in Canada. That has nothing to do with these United States of America. Come on, folks. So this clown, in my opinion, I could say that because it's my show. This clown is saying, the league is made up, the NHL is made up of 25% of those teams. They play in Canada. Big deal. Big deal. So you guys go ahead and play your things there. You play your games there. And guess what? You're going to make your money there. You're going to spend your money there. Who cares? Who cares? I mean, a Canadian team's not going to win the Stanley Cup anyway. It is what it is. But when you look at it, they're saying, because of everything that's going on in Canada, now we're going to have a problem with everything in the United States. Well, there's going to be a problem between the two countries. No, there isn't. There isn't. So get over it. And so they're trying to say, hey, look, this Pompliano character is trying to say, the hockey enthusiasts are going to have to pay more. Maybe Canadian hockey enthusiasts, get over it. We don't take a lot of imports from Canada in the first place. They take some of ours, but at the end of the day, we don't take hardly any. They don't really take too many. But ultimately, look, we don't need Canada. We don't need your money. Got to remember that. Your economy is a hell of a lot smaller than even the state of California. Let's take it into real account. California is the 4th largest economy in the world. The state of California. That's right. It's larger than Japan and all these other countries. Well, guess what? Canada is complaining about what? Please, save us a little bit of headache and just, please, for the love of God.
Stop it! Stop it!
Seriously.
Stop it!
I mean, enough is enough is enough is enough.
Stop it!
That's right. Stop it already.
Stop it!
It's just a real problem.
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
That's right. And I'm going to keep doing that stuff. You know why? Because the whole thing is stupid. So Canada, how about doing this? How about shutting up? All right, moving on in this ridiculous discussion from this organization. They also say, well, investors... Oh, wait, no, let's continue on with this. Hold on. Oh, yeah, let's move to this. Investors looking into athletic wear, stocks, and all their actual, their ancillary items, they should remain cautious. So here's the more fear-mongering by this Pompliano character and by this crypto rank organization. They say sports investors eyeing athletic wear and their stocks should be cautious. Nike has spread its manufacturing across multiple regions and, of course, minimizing heavy dependence on China. Still, even Nike experiences some difficulty despite being a sports giant. Well, you know what, Nike? If you made your items in these United States of America, instead of using certain kinds of labor from overseas that we don't want to talk about here, well, maybe you wouldn't even be in this discussion. You're a company based in Oregon. Why don't you act like an American company in the first place? That's right. Produce your things here. And you know what? How about a little sense of pride in your home country? Instead of using cheaper labor in other places, how about maybe passing on, so you raise the price a little bit. At least you would have American-made items, and Americans will get behind American-made items. So Nike shares fell more than 5% after the company said it anticipates fourth quarter gross margins to drop by 400 to 500 basis points, partly because of newly implemented tariffs. Get over it. These developments suggest that sports, once thought to be protected from political and economic turmoil, are anything but immune to the current trade war. Oh, this is stupid. With this ridiculous discussion on tariffs and trade wars in sports and entertainment and ticketing. For all you ticket brokers out there, we have zero love for you because we know in our heart of hearts that you, in our opinions, are absolutely stealing from the American public. Back here in a few minutes on The Circus. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come. It's a circus, and we prove it every day.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA. The only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.
If you served in the Marine Corps, by now you know about the contaminated water problem at Camp Lejeune. If you were stationed or worked at Camp Lejeune from 1953 to 1987, you probably have a lot of questions. We have some answers. You could be entitled to compensation. Billions of dollars are being allocated to pay for damages to anyone stationed at Camp Lejeune during that time. Unfortunately, it appears that officials may have known the contaminated water problem existed and did little to protect their men. The Semper Fi code was not honored. If you or someone in your family has developed a serious illness, including various forms of cancer, call this Camp Lejeune legal support line right now. You can't turn back the clock and change what happened, but you can certainly call right now and learn your rights as a Marine. Here's the number.
Call 800-335-7196. 800-335-7196. That's 800-335-7196.
Do a search on how to get out of credit card debt, and you'll find everything from crazy promises to ways you can try to do it yourself. Many of those ideas just don't work, and they leave you broker than you were. Here's some advice. Call our debt helpline. In a quick and free 5-minute conversation, our experts will listen to you and learn about how much credit card debt you have, what your goals are, and then show you the right solution to help you get out of credit card debt with one new simple, affordable payment. The credit card companies make available special programs to help if you're struggling. All it takes for you to finally get out of credit card debt is one quick, free phone call. So please call right now.
800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. 800-948-6817. That's 800-948-6817. Paid for by the Debt Helpline.
Hey everybody, this is Brian Urlacher. Welcome back to the Sports Circus.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Mary Master Cell, live from Las Vegas in the AMP-TV studio, AAMP.TV. And listen, folks, we want to welcome back everybody that has been sitting through this one, talking about these tariffs and sports and entertainment. And I have to tell you, this is kind of a fun one for me because I'm getting really fired up over this one because people are talking out of their elbows and they really have no damn clue of what the hell's going on in the grand scheme of things. And even good old, yes, are you ready for this one? Harris. Good old Kamala Harris opens her mouth. That's right, Jake. She opens her mouth and she decides to jump into the party and she's slamming the president. And after she got her ass handed to her in an election, and she decides, well, I'm going to throw myself in there. And she decided to say, well, you know, it's a reckless situation. And she says, quote, some people are describing what's been happening in recent months as absolute chaos. And of course, I understand why. It's certainly true of those tariffs. The tariffs that, as I predicted, are clearly inviting a recession. Really? All right. Well, listen, Harris, you and your puppet, as I call him, leader from the last administration, all it was, that was the complete destruction of an economy and forcing Donald J. Trump to do what? To make America great yet again, because they wanted to make America mediocre at best. Well, guess what? Donald J. Trump is doing exactly what he promised to do. And I can't believe that this one decided to open her mouth. Oh, that's right. Well, I have to jump into this. And, you know, seriously, I have to tell you, this is one of the worst things that could possibly happen for Harris to open her mouth about anything. I mean, seriously, about anything. She has no business opening her mouth on anything when she was a real big part of, well, the destruction of America. That's right. That is for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. That's right. Seriously, folks. Those two tried to create the 100% complete demise and globalization of the United States. And of course, their efforts went right down the crapper. All right. So in the grand scheme of things, folks, so we're going to get past this Harris thing and let's focus on the idea of with the sports and entertainment thing. And they say, well, you know, we've got a problem here with these tariffs working against these sports and entertainment industries. Well, guess what? They talk about rising concession prices. They talk about rising jersey sales prices and stuff like that. Well, if these companies made their jerseys in the United States, we wouldn't have a tariff issue now, would we? No, if they had a little bit of integrity, in my opinion, if they had a shred of integrity, maybe these large organizations would do what? they would have a little pride in the country in which the teams play, and maybe, just maybe, they might make their jerseys in this country for these teams that play in this country. That's right. Instead of going to make them in Asia somewhere or some other country, some other third world country that uses slave labor, child labor, whatever the hell they use. I don't know. I'm not there. I can't tell you. Although I have studied in China and I know what it's like over there. I know what the conditions are, the working conditions. I've toured factories and I had a very in-depth study program over there. And so I can assure you that some of those factories where some of these items are made, even the knockoff items, the working conditions, as I've seen, boy, they are tough, they're bad, and it's almost like slave labor as I remember it. I'm not going to say it is, but as I remember it, boy, this was a bad situation. And so how do these organizations that slap their label on those goods made over in China and in this country and that country and whatnot, how do they sleep at night? That's really what I want to know. They charge exorbitant amounts of money. They'll pay maybe $5 to have a jersey made. They'll sell the jersey for $200, of which maybe $50, possibly, depends on the sport, even in baseball. Maybe $50 will go to the player. I don't know what the pricing scheme is, but what I'm trying to say in the grand scheme of things is that even if they're making $150 per jersey or even $100 per jersey, and if their cost is $5, that's a 20 times factor. What makes them any better than the ticket scalpers that are, in my opinion, stealing, and those secondary ticket brokers, those unscrupulous brokers, in my opinion, what makes them any better than those organizations? I don't think a damn thing makes them better. I think they're just as bad as the ticket brokers, scalpers, ticket agents, and all this other garbage. And believe me, they all stink, in my opinion. That's right. You say, well, we have to make a profit too. Yeah, but you don't have to do it at the expense of stealing from people like this. This is lunacy, folks. And so I don't care what station you're listening to this program on or whether you're streaming it or whatnot. The reality is this affects each and every one of us. If we want to take our families to a baseball, football, basketball, hockey game, soccer game, whatever the hell it is, look, the ticket prices are high already. Now we've got what? We've got souvenirs. We've got parking. We've got food. We've got beverage. We have stuff. And the ticket prices for a family of four and all that included, just for the National Football League, for a family of four, cost a couple of $1,000 pretty much, including everything out the door, really, to go to a game. And I've had this discussion numerous times, even with my friends offline. We've talked about this ad nauseum. And the reality is, do you want to pay a couple $1,000 for a 3-hour event and maybe get a souvenir? Or do you want to go take maybe a 3 or 4 day cruise, one of those cruises, I don't know, that leave Los Angeles and goes down to Mexico or something like that, something fun, or even a Bahamas cruise that goes through Florida, whatever, through Fort Lauderdale. I don't know. There are all kinds of opportunities, but ultimately, what do we have? We have a dumpster fire, a complete and utter dumpster fire, and the dumpster fire refers to the cost. And they say, well, okay, the tariffs are driving the cost. No, they're not. Gouging is driving the cost. Because you tell me in a ticket to go to a baseball game or football, basketball, hockey, or soccer, or whatever the hell it is, right here in these United States, you tell me how a tariff is going to increase the ticket cost to get into the stadium to go sit and watch a game. Please, somebody chime in as I wait. That's right. And there's a moment of silence. That's right. Nobody can do it. You know why? Because the whole thing is a colossal ripoff.
My, isn't this an awkward moment?
That's right. It's a colossal ripoff. So they're gouging. And then you've got these ticket brokers and these scalpers that are gouging the people. And they're using fear tactics to say, well, you know, you're going to have to pay higher prices. Why do they have to pay higher prices? Why? Because they've cornered the market on the tickets and they're using something in the media, in the blue media specifically, to say, well, now these events are going on, so now your ticket prices are higher. So the cost of steel is higher, so now you have to pay a higher ticket price for a game. Well, the cost of aluminum is higher, you're going to have to pay more money for the game. The cost of eggs is higher, and that's from some alleged bird flu nonsense, whatever. Now you're going to have to pay more money for tickets. I don't recall anybody getting bacon and eggs or whatnot at a football, baseball, basketball, hockey, or soccer game, or even a tennis match. And so why does the alleged tariffs have a profound cost, or they're priming people to pay more money? It's kind of like people say, well, we haven't seen the ticket prices, or we haven't seen the prices go down in gas or in eggs or whatever. Well, listen, folks, the gas prices have come down a little bit. But they say, well, we haven't seen this big change in this, that, and the other since there was a change in office and whatnot. First of all, it takes time to do these things. And secondly, when you've got a prioritization of bigger fish to fry, look, first of all, it doesn't really make a lot of sense for prices of eggs to be where they're at. The whole thing is ridiculous. But if you look at a gallon of milk, you can still pick up a gallon of milk for $2.50. I got one for $1.99 recently. So you can't tell me that milk is so much higher and all this other crap. Essential goods, you can get a loaf of bread at pick your favorite grocery store for anywhere up to $1. Milk you can pick up for maybe $3, which has basically been the same price for a very, very long time. So I don't want to hear this crap. It's all this fear-mongering by the blue team. So if you're saying, well, we have to pay more for sports and entertainment and for gas and for this and for that and whatever. Well, here's what happens, folks. We have a difference between wants and needs. Now, remember, the needs, the prices will go down for the needs, because at some point the FTC will step in, being the Federal Trade Commission, and say, all right, we have to have fair competition and pricing, and we don't want monopolistic competition to drive the prices up. So they will step in to make sure that there's no price fixing from, I guess, all those organizations that are trying to create thievery to their clientele. So when it comes to the wants side, think about this. What used to cost maybe $20 for two people to go to a restaurant, I could give that account all day long, right here in Las Vegas. There used to be a place that I'd go to for cheap Chinese for two people, and it would be after 9 p.m. We could actually get two meals for $4.95 a piece, and that was the 9 p.m., the late night menu, so to say. And so for $4.95, we can get a hot pot, pick your favorite food, and then also maybe a Singapore noodle, $4.95 a piece, $10 out the door, no tax included on those. That same everything since the plandemic, that's right, that same everything now costs $20 a person. Why? Because we have wants and needs. When the public has been primed to pay more money for wants, such as going out to eat and certain things for entertainment and whatnot, well, guess what? The providers of those opportunities, whether it's food or this or that, the other, all those wants, the things that we want, not the things that we need, the public has been primed to pay more money. That's right. That is the issue. And those providers are not going to do what? They have already set the public up to pay 2 or 3 times the amount for those goods or services. So therefore, they're not going to lower their prices. No, they don't have to do it. Only when it comes to needs. So folks, if you're used to paying $20-$30 a person right now, and plus an extra gratuity of 30% on your food, guess what? You're going to always have to pay that, because the restaurants and whatnot, they're not going to lower their prices. So you have basically been burnt for the rest of your life on that. So all of those things, you better learn how to cook. If you're used to eating out got real expensive. You better learn how to cook and get back to family values and stuff like that, because guess what? Life has gotten a lot more expensive. Donald J. Trump is trying to lower the cost of life day to day. That's how it works, folks. We've run out of time here on the circus. I'm done with this. We'll see you in 23 hours. So long, everyone.
Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA. The only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. 800-932-5517. That's 800-932-5517.